Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is Wheat Whiskey Wednesday. So today we're gonna do a blind of 4 wheat whiskeys, all cask strength, I believe. They're all at least higher proof, all under $100. So they're all fighting the same category, same space for our monies. Obviously, let me go over the 4, I guess. So everyone, I'm sure, is here for this one. This is the new Maker's Mark release, Star Hill Farm 2025 edition. And yep, it marries 2 all-new mash bills, one of soft red winter wheat and malted barley, and another of 100% malted wheat. Carefully matured and bottled at cask strength, this whiskey reveals nature's gifts in their truest form, offering a spectrum of soft, sweet, and complex flavors. It's $99. It's new. It's 114.7 proof. So let's see how it does compared to some other stuff. So we have this. We also have this Bernheim Original Barrel Proof Batch A225. So it came out this year. So this is from Heaven Hill. This is like the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs and the Larceny Barrel Proofs, except this comes out twice a year instead of 3 times a year. And it's not something I really ever seen in Connecticut. I actually bought this online for 80 bucks, but MSRP is between 60 to 80, somewhere in there. So a little bit cheaper. Actually, the rest are actually going to be cheaper than the new Maker's Mark, the Star Hill Farm. Okay, we also have an Old Elk. This is an SLB pick. And this is a 7-year wheat whiskey. This is 114 proof. Oh, I didn't tell you the proof on the Bernheim. That's 125.4. This is the highest proof. This is also, I think, the lowest wheat content. Yeah. This is only 51% wheat, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. So this is definitely the least amount of wheat in out of these 4. Okay, back to the Old Elk. So the Old Elk, it says age 7 years, and it says 96% wheat, 4% malted barley, and this was 80 bucks that I got, from being an SLB Patreon member. Oh, and this, as you can see, this is not the proper top to this because Old Elk is notorious for their bottles not being tight, so I switched it out for a Woodford Reserve top, because that's basically the only one that would fit in here. It's a little snug, but I guess it's better to be snug than loose. So that's no bueno. And then I got a Journeyman's Distillery Corsets, Whips, and Whiskey. This is 100% wheat whiskey, $60. And this is 119.7 proof. And, this is from Michigan, so a little bit outside the box bottle here. So a little diversity. Old Elk is distilled in Indiana, so probably MGP. So I have them already poured, ready to go. So I get these bottles out of the way. Okay, so let's go to A on the nose. So A on the nose is oak, honey, cinnamon, some dark fruit. Okay, let's go B on the nose. B is way more earthy than A. That's mainly the only note I'm getting off B. Dark cherry. It's light. The strong note on B on the nose is like a strong earthiness. Almost like a wet hay, but it's not quite that way. Okay, C's like a muted bright cherry. So like slight bright cherry. You know what, I'm going to take the slate away. It's getting more bright cherry. Like a red Jolly Rancher. Candy, that's a little earth. This is slight earthiness, where B is very. So this has the earthiness and the red Jolly Rancher, red cherry candy note. Some peanuts. Yeah, that's a good nose. I like that nose too. Okay, let's go to D. Oh, this is definitely different. So let's get to me that grilled tomato. No, which I usually get that on the Journeymans. So I'm just going to assume this is the Journeymans. I don't think it's the Corsets, Whips, and Whiskey one, though. It's the other one. That was a store pick. But I definitely always associate that grilled tomato note with Journeyman. So I'm just going to, that's going to be my guess. But that's basically what I get. That's the only thing I'm getting off of this. And I have noticed it. It's not, Journeyman's isn't the only bottle I've ever got that note on. I've gotten that note on a few other ones. And they always tend to seem to be like a wheater. So I gotta really figure out if it's a certain type of wheat. But anyways, that's just for me. Okay, let's go on the palate. So A on the palate. Ooh, A on the nose is very grassy now. Well, I'll just add it on there because it is a lot grassier now. Coming off of D. All right. So I didn't write anything purposely because it was my first sip. But man, A is good right off the gate. That is so good. Had a really good mouthfeel. It finished linger for a while. The notes, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to describe them. They were all like just very intense and rich flavors. That's very good. Now, I had the Star Hill Farm, go keep calling it the Maker's Mark, but the Star Hill Farm from Maker's Mark and the Bernheim Barrel Proof the other night with my Whiskey Cigar Club, and they both finished second and third for me personally. And in the group, I think they were like 4 or 5 or something like that. They did well, and that's the only reason they weren't in my top 4 video from Monday was because I wanted to just keep the bourbon separate from the wheat whiskeys. These aren't wheated bourbons. There's a lot more options for that. I was like, what wheat whiskeys do I have? These are basically the 4. There's a couple other ones around here, but these are like the 4 ones I could grab easily, I guess. And they're all under $100 now. Heaven Hill came out with the 19-year-old wheat whiskey, which, unicorn. I don't have that. $300 bottle. Hard to find. But if I had that, I guess I would throw it in here just to see how it would do. But, that's a whole different level. It's 3 times the price of even the Star Hill, which is more expensive than the other 3. So, anyways. A. Rich oak, earthy, dark cherry, sweet vanilla, a finish honey, cinnamon, and raisins. It's complex and delicious. I really like A. See, let's go for a second sip. All right, so on the second sip, a lot of the same. On the finish, I got more dark chocolate and funkiness. Almost like that Cellar Rickhouse notes. It wasn't off-putting, but it was there. It just gives it like another flavor. Because this is definitely one of those roller coasters that I like. And it is very good. I really like this one. That's very good. I really like that. One thing I would say, the lowest proof thing in here is 114. And this doesn't drink 114. It drinks like 100, 105. Like not crazy lower proof, but doesn't drink, especially for the first pour of the day. Like I'm literally doing this after work. And it tastes great. So let's go to B. Ooh, that is earthy. It's just so different. Okay, so B on the first sip is way proofier than A. When I was just saying how A was not drinking proof, so B is way proofier than A. It's earthy, cereal, grainy, proofy, and youthful. It definitely tastes younger than A, but that just may be the grains that they're using. Some of these are 100% wheat, so I guess a wheat grain. It was reminding me of a certain cereal, and I couldn't figure out exactly what cereal, so maybe I'll try to figure that out in the second sip. Okay, now that my palate's adjusted to like the proof, I got a lot more sweetness that time. It's still grainy. I'm not getting a lot of other notes per se, but it is sweet and cereally, earthy. It's good. It's just definitely a different profile than A. It's very unique. Dark cherry on the finish. It's good. It's just very different. And this is more kind of the profile for a wheat whiskey that I would kind of think they would more fall in line with. A seems like it's almost like a bourbon per se. Like the notes and the taste is just how I think bourbons taste. Like this is more of that wheat, but a higher proof. It definitely tastes like proof. Anyways, so let's go to C. All right, so C on the palate. Cherry, peanut, oak, cinnamon, finish. Got proofy, vanilla, strawberry chapstick, and wet peanut. Which, so the wet peanut, when I get on the finish, usually is not my favorite. Same. I don't like that note so much, but overall it's pretty good. Just a lingering note, not the biggest fan of. I do like C a lot. It's complex like A little bit more proof. So definitely, B is definitely an outlier because it's so different. I like to compare A and C once I go back and forth. Yeah, I still got one more sip of this goodness. Yeah, I really like C. So it's got the thickest mouthfeel. It might have the longest finish. And that wet peanut note is now more of like I actually wrote vanilla again. Then I realized I already wrote vanilla on the finish, so I crossed it out. But very vanilla. C is pretty good too. Okay, let's go into the grilled tomato. Yeah, I still get that note. I would just like 20 people just to smell this and just get what they get, or see what they say and try to figure out like, oh, it's that, not grilled tomato, but grilled tomato to me. Okay, this is also unique. So so D and B are like the same palate direction as opposed to like C and A, which are different. This is more earthy, the grilled tomato notes on the palate, a little bit of cardboard in a good way. I don't know how that's ever in a good way, but definitely was there, and it wasn't like off-putting. And there was sweetness there. Unique, that's for sure. Some brown sugar on the palate. I think it's like the sweetness direction. That cardboard note, you know, cardboard note doesn't sound good. I understand that. But there's this note like that if it's not cardboard. That's in there. It's a solid, good portion of the flavor. But again, it's not off-putting. It's just like a unique note. How often do you get like a cardboardy note? I don't know. I don't get it that much. So it's also good. So these are all, I think I got one more sip. Let me give this guy another sip. I'm not giving these guys all the 3 sips. This is just so unique. And this is like, again, like B and D are more what I would consider like traditional wheat whiskeys. They're just out there, man. These two are just out there. So I'm gonna pause it here. We'll drink some water. I'm definitely gonna compare D versus B and A versus C and kind of go from there, because I feel like that would be the better like A-B comparisons. Be right back. Smell that first. There's a distinct note on that bottle that I get all the time, and no one gets this note on anything.
Tomato.
Grilled tomato. This is a grilled tomato bottle. It's funny you say that. And it's literally the grilled tomato bottle. All right, I'm back. When I was going through back and forth, I was going back and forth on B and D and A and C, because just how the palettes lined up, for me anyways. So my last place is the Old Elk. I scored a 3. It's good. The one note I started to really center in on was that bread dough note that I got on the the Penelope Havana, which is the reason I really don't like that, because of that bread doughy note. And so this wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't great. So 3, average. So that's that. So then we go to third place, which is the Journeyman's for me. Now this is my wife's favorite, but she did get that grilled tomato note. It's funny because I was like, what note do you get on that? She goes, and right away she goes, it's not that grilled tomato note, is it? I was like, yes, this is the bottle. So I'm not the only crazy person on earth. I might have married the other craziest person on earth, but so the grilled tomato, I do like this. And so I score this a 3 3.5. I do like that grilled tomato note. I know it's a crazy note, but it's so unique and different. And I don't know if I just get excited about it, but I do like this. So 3.5 on the Journeyman's, Corsettes, whips, and a whiskey. So then it came down to the new bottles. The Star Hill versus Bernheim. Now, the Bernheim is barely legal weeded whiskey. And the Starlight, I keep saying Starlight in my brain. Star Hill Farm is a mixture of two mash bills. One of them is 100% malted wheat, and the other one is, so I pulled up the Maker's Mark release. So this is two mash bills. One's using 70% soft red winter wheat, 30% malted barley, and the other was 100% malted soft red winter wheat. There's some barley in there, a lot of wheat. I actually had the Bernheim winning at a point when I was going back and forth with them. I scored them, the Star Hill of 4 and the Bernheim of 4.15. But then was going back and forth, and the Bernheim started getting like kind of like an astringent peanut note that I did not like. So it wasn't like the biggest note, but it was there. And so that actually dropped it down to a 3.95. So the Star Hill was my favorite. I scored it a 4. I did get a little bit of banana note on it as a new note on the palate. So I guess to help with the hype, Star Hill Farm is very good. Now, if you can't find this for $100, you know, I've seen it on secondary now for basically double that. I don't know if I would pay that at all for this. It is very good. We'll see how allocated it is. I don't know if it's gonna be allocated like the seller's age. We'll see, right? Because it does say, does not say. I thought it said limited release right on the front of it, but I'm not seeing that right now. So I'm just making crap up. Locally sourced, limited release. I'm not making shit up. It's right there. So we'll see how limited it really is. But if you can get this Bernheim, the A225 for probably, $30-ish dollars less, higher proof, I don't know, I would maybe go with that if you want to save a couple bucks. It's very good. It's barely legal wheat, so if you're trying to tiptoe into the wheat, grab yourself a Bernheim Barrel Proof. Maybe that's the way to go. Because these two 100% wheated, right? The old elk was 100% or 96%, 4% malted. The German's 100%. Those were distinctly different than these two, especially this one, right? So it is what it is, right? So the Star Hill did win for me today, and if you could find it for $100, I'd pick it up. If I saw another one for $100, I'd probably pick it up, but I'm not paying secondary for it. I wish I could find Bernheim more often, because after tasting it basically for the first time today, or I had it at Whiskey Scar Club, but I'm saying like for the first time like this month, and it did go well for me last month or at the tasting and today. So did Star Hill. So it's not like crazy that this is gonna kill that, but I just want to try different wheated versus the Star Hill because I know everyone's about to review this bottle if they haven't already. I know SLB reviewed it 2 days ago. Sons of bees, they beat me right to it. I could have done this video for Monday. We would have both released at the same time, and they would have got thousands of views, and I already got my 200 and been very, very happy. But anyways, so that's that for Wheat Whiskey Wednesday. Friday's video is going to be a cash strength blind, because I'm going to do it in a little bit probably. Everyone kept talking about the Jefferson's cash strength on Monday's video, and to me it was not placed in the proper lineup, right? Because the other bottles in the lineup were all way more expensive than that Jefferson's cash strength, so it wasn't really playing the same league as those. So I'm going to try to compare it to other cash strength bourbons around that like $60 to $80. So stay tuned. Oh, stay tuned for Friday's video. But first, let's do the giveaway for this video because I almost forgot it. And I've been very good about not forgetting it. So if you want to win 2-ounce samples of all 4 of these, maybe it's the only way you're going to get this one. I don't know how allocated this is. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with the hashtag wheat. Hashtag wheat. Make it real easy. Let me know what your favorite wheat whiskey is. If you have a favorite wheat whiskey, whatever. Drop your comments. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, do not get caught. Bye.